Might as well go all out and celebrate the holidays. Well, I think so too. Big Brother's calling, Pat. Big Brother's calling. So I brought an honorary slashette with me today, and her name is Elaine Pringle. She's a good friend of mine. We've worked together at Signature Title for many years. In fact, she's the brains of Signature Title. She's our chief title officer, which means she's like our chief historian of all the title examination that goes on at Signature. And she's been seeing some things that are related to your solar deals or deals that involve solar that she'd like to share a title tip today. So, Elaine.
Yes, thank you for having me. And he gives me way too much credit, let me tell you. There's just a couple of requirements that I've been having a lot of issues with lately. So I just wanted to touch on them because when you see them, I don't want you to panic and say, oh, you know, we have to do this. These requirements, which are shown on section 1 as requirement 3, and then on the back requirement 4, it's a UCC termination, and then it's a furnished cancellation of an unrecorded lease. So when you see these requirements, go to your UCC. There's usually the UCC is your last document. Go to the UCC, look at item 4, and it usually has to do with solar. So if we see that, then we feel that there may or may not be an unrecorded lease attached to this UCC. So we call for a termination of both, but that just starts the discussion. Many lenders will want us to tell them that they have first position, and we can't really do that unless they choose one of these options. So these are just the options that they can choose to handle these requirements. But I just wanted to bring them up so that you don't panic when you see them. And again, it's more of a lender issue, but it also becomes your issue as well. If most of the lenders, they will choose option 4. So it kind of makes it easy when they choose option 4. And what we do is we just show it as an exception on our policy.
If there's no longer a lease on the solar, like if it's paid off or whatever, do you guys require any documentation showing that?
Not typically. If they verify that there's, I mean, we would like some kind of cancellation, but that doesn't always happen. If it's just verified that there's no lease, then we'll usually take the requirement off. But we just add these to start the discussion, because you know they say these solar companies say they're not recording anything, but they are recording these UCCs, and that's the only way that we know that there's any issues out there with the solar is when we see these UCCs. Does anybody else have any questions?
I do have one comment since you all are up here. Our escrow partner, Title Security, the office on Oracle Road, which adjoins our Oracle Road office, is closed for the next 2 weeks, and you can guess why. Vacations. Okay. However, the escrow officers at that location have reached out to everyone who has escrows with them. It's business as usual. It's much better now. All of our escrow title folks in the city, they've got it down pat now. And so, just if you have an escrow up there, no concerns. And if you wonder if you show up, you can use another one of the Title Security facilities for closing. Everything's being done remotely pretty much now anyways. They don't want you at closing. You certainly have to review the closing documents, but it's just one of these things. That's their protocol. So for 2 weeks, that office is closed.
And there's 2 more actually.
There are 2 more? Okay. I didn't see. Did Bruce send another message?
River and no, Green Valley's I think opening back up.
Okay. It is. 85 North Oracle is closed. Yeah.
Correct. And so is River and Camel. Yeah, I believe it's the one on River, not the Kingrick one on Camel.
Okay. Oh, by Nova.
Okay. Because we have 2 rivers.
Yeah. And there's also one by
That's the Cambridge office.
Mm-hmm. Donna Peterson on Skylines also.
The escrow officers are doing a really good job now reaching out to folks, so they know if you have an escrow with one of those escrow officers, you've already been contacted by them or their staff, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Don't hesitate to reach out to me as well if you're having any challenges getting in touch.
and, help facilitate notaries.
Did you want to talk about the First American?
Yes, sorry, I was running by. The thing I wanted to kind of mention today is First American, we are not officially going by First American, even though we're a First American company. So just remember when you're writing out your contracts on line 117, business as usual, TSA/signature. We had someone put First American or FATCO, and we had to get an addendum just because of how, the business is. Yeah, technicality. When we do launch the official name and we become, First American, you can start writing FATCO and all that. We'll let you know. I think it'll be June, July-ish. I think we're going to do something. We're not going to just start, announcing it at meetings. It'll be a big promotional type thing. It's going to be exciting. You'll definitely know and be informed. But business as usual, TSA/signature, and then your preferred escrow officer. And truly just, Thanksgiving just happening and the holidays already here, 2021. On behalf of everyone, just truly grateful for all of you guys and your continued support. And we are, I kind of stepped in after you guys were already talking about the escrow office closures, but we're just doing the extra precaution with the fumigation and shutdown and all that. But we have the notary services available. Remember, we are paying for those. So if you want your sellers to sign at their home or buyers to sign at their home or their work, we'll send notaries to them. If you hear any different, again, reach out to me to get clarification, because the only challenge of sending a notary is if docs come in late and there's time sensitive things that need to happen as far as funding and everything. That might get tricky.
So if you're anticipating that, please don't close on the 30th of December. Okay? Be thinking about those closing dates if you know that you're going to have to use one of those notary services. But you're anticipating that things can, will always do change, especially in the environment that exists today. One other additional, is there anything else? And thank you for coming. Delane is wonderful. Mark and I call her all the time when one of you has a serious problem, and she's always there for us.
With a smile on her face.
With a smile on her face.
But I like talking to you guys.
So thank you, Delane.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you for calling.
Real quick, those at-a-glance appointment books, I have them. I meant to bring some in. My schedule's been a little thrown off because I was actually covering Green Valley doing stuff I've never done before, but I'm a team player. So let me know if you'd like one. I know a lot of people use their phones, but they're beautiful books. Just text me, email me, and I'll make sure I get them for you guys. And if you've already let me know, I've got them. I just need to get my deliveries out. So they're coming.
One last thing before we have Jeff make some comments to all of us. Just want to, talking about COVID, a couple of things. First of all, a big thank you to all of our agents and staff for doing everything you can to mitigate this. I mean, we're not going to be perfect. Nothing is perfect. But there are a couple of additional measures that we've taken. Number one is Carla has ramped up the cleaning in all of our offices. She's already discussed it with our cleaning organizations as far as what additional things, additional steps they're taking inside the office. I'm going to ask all of you, frequently wash your hands, okay? And do not let anybody into the office unmasked, okay? Even if it's after hours, because it puts everybody at risk. And you may not know this, we only think about the public, but many of our agents have underlying health conditions, okay? Some of our staff have underlying health conditions. Think about it this way, if our entire accounting department goes down because of COVID, what do you think happens with the processing of checks? Jeff's going to put on his visor and go out to the best, okay? This is how it works. All seriousness, and the other thing is, please, if you're feeling ill, not right, stay home. And that applies, don't go out anywhere. Forget about here. And if you know that you've been exposed to somebody with the virus, even though you're not symptomatic in any way, most people, the vast majority of people are not, please stay home. Stay out of our offices, keep everybody well. In fact, you shouldn't be out at all if you've been exposed. So if there's any questions, please direct them directly to Carla or myself, but we're doing everything we can to keep everybody safe and to keep our business open, okay, for you and your clients. Jeff?
It is my pleasure to introduce Queen Bee of Ronald McDonald House. Yeah, Queen Bee.
Well, I have.
Yes, sir.
I have some show and tell. It's been so long since I've been here and since I've seen you guys, and there's so much that's happened and so much that's happening right now. Do you have pictures? One of the things I wanted to tell you was, it's been such a weird year for everyone. Weird is probably the best way we can put it. And, it's been really hard for us. We had to close the Ronald McDonald House for 5 months. It's the first time in the history of the organization that that's happened. And that was an edict from our global office because they were just so concerned about the spread of the COVID-19 virus. The families that were staying with us, we didn't have to ask them to leave, but by May we had no families in the house. So the really, it was terrible. It broke our hearts, but it was the right thing to do. The weird thing about it was that during the time we were closed, our expenses went way up because we decided to put families up in hotels. So all those families that would have stayed at the Ronald McDonald House, we put them up in hotels. And honestly, we were able to do that because in large part because of your support. It gives us that ballast so that we know we can do the right thing when we need to. The hotels were cooperative because, no one was staying in hotels, but they couldn't give it away either. So, we paid a lot over the summer. So that's the background. Let's see, can you go back one? So this is a fun thing. We are members of the Association of Fundraising Professionals. Every year they have a big luncheon. This year it was online. But we have the opportunity to nominate someone who is really an incredible donor and philanthropist. And so that gift this year went to you guys, went to REAZT.
All right.
Well, I just wanted you all to know, how much we appreciate it. It was really a nice honor for you, and we were happy that worked out. So, number 2, you all donate to the organization, but I know you're like me, and you like to know the families that benefit from everything that we're doing. This is a family that stayed with us last year, and then we put up in a hotel. They stayed with us 2 years ago. Their little guy, the 2-year-old, was born at 29 weeks, and they stayed with us for 65 nights. And you just imagine the expense of having to do that. They were so grateful, and they just, they're very dear to us as families in Morenci. So mom had actually no risk factors to have another premature baby. She wanted to have another baby, and then, little guy came really early too. That was this last summer when we were closed, and she was just so grateful. They were all so grateful that we could put them up in a hotel. And then, not everyone's supposed to know this, but our house manager, Sherry, who practically takes these families into her own home, had a friend who had an apartment that wasn't being used, and so we were able to put them up in an apartment for the summer. So anyway, this is the kind of family that we're all supporting. So what else is happening? Normally we do our house party, which we all love, and of course we didn't do that this year, but thanks to REAZT Arizona Territory, you all sponsored the Red Shoe Auction, which just opened this morning. I've already put my bids in. I'm not going to tell you what I'm bidding on because I don't want you to outbid me. One of the really cool things in the auction this year, we had 20 of 2021 pairs of red shoes because everybody wears red shoes at the house party, and we asked local artists to decorate them, to design them, and they are way cool. Just all kinds. So go online and look, and we're really appreciative to you guys for your support of this. And, normally when you support an event like that, you get big promotion at the house, and obviously that wasn't happening this year. So we invested a little bit of the money and did outdoor boards promoting the partnership between Realty Execs and Ronald McDonald House Charities. So there's one right around here on 1030. Yeah, so these will be up for 2 months, and, there are the locations right there. These will be, we're paying for it for a month, and then I think Jeff is keeping them up another month. So I think this will be great for all of us. The locations that we picked are giving you almost 450,000 impressions weekly. So yeah, so good for all of us. So
You
that's
guys like that?
Yeah, that's awesome. Very cool.
Colors look good together, Kate.
what?
The Ronald McDonald House colors and theirs.
Yeah.
Realty
No,
colors look good together.
it's really good. So one of you, either Jeff or John, made the mistake of saying, we have a full page ad in Thompson Land and we don't use it all the time, so whoever wants it, you can have it. So we took it, and now I can't read it from here. But I just think this is so fun. This hasn't gone in yet, but central location, beautiful mountain views, close to the U of A, shopping and restaurants, 27 bedrooms, 31 bathrooms, newly remodeled kitchen. See, I've been following what you guys are doing. Quartz countertops, stainless steel appliances, room for many cooks, spacious backyard with playground, healing garden, separate office and meeting space. It's not for sale, but thanks to generous community donations, it's here for families from out of town with sick children, supported by realtors. Isn't that fun? I mean, it's gotta be the only house in town. So you'll see that, and then, today is Giving Tuesday, and I know John has some things that he's sending out. What I'm encouraging everybody to think about, if you were wanting to make a tax credit donation still this year, that we're a good place to do it. And I think that's all. Is that all? Yeah. And then, just one more thing, and this is from the other John, who called me, and he had an idea. He wanted to do these giving trees in each one of the offices. And so we delivered these here today. Is there a tree up in the office? Or there will be? Well,
They're going up. Ours is going up this morning.
so I have these little, they're just an idea for gifts, if people wanted to do that. This is a game for a teenager, gift card to a local restaurant. So these will be up in all of the offices. So wow. Phew. Are you done with me? Thank you.
Giving this, especially this year, has been a tough year for all. So we agree. And, a suggestion, we talk to family members, friends, people we normally give regular gifts to. What we suggested this year is to give to your favorite charity. And of course, our favorite charity is the Ronald McDonald House. So you may consider doing that instead of regular gifts this year. And that's certainly up to you, but it was a big hit on my circle of friends and families that we do that. Okay? Jeff, do you got a few other things you want to comment on? He always does.
Hey, Kate, go to the Hogan School of Real Estate. What do you guys?
Watch out.
Yeah, I know. Let me give you our numbers year to date. As of today, $1.4 billion in sales. 5,500 units. So congratulations, everybody. Yeah. So congratulations, everybody. Number two, I did order really executives masks, and I thought they were going to be in today so I could give one to Mark. But I got 750 of them that should be in later this week. They'll be at all offices, free to everybody if you want. And they're supposed to be at our Christmas party that we can't have. So, telling you.
Ashley will let you be the party leader when we're able to have a party.
I'm really glad you said that. That's right. What else have I got to talk about? What?
Green Valley.
Oh, so the Green Valley office is close to being done. They're in the second day of putting tile down, so it's almost ready. We'll be moving in there by the end of December. And it's going to be a great office and a great location. I'm very happy. And it's a big upgrade for what we have presently. So
Where is it, Jeff?
it's where the
Pizza, actually.
By Monte Pizza, it's across from where, what is that, not Whole Foods, it's Sprouts. Right. Yeah, it's a really great location, and the great thing about it is we'll have signage in the shopping center and on the road, so I don't know if they're up yet, but they're ordered. So that's a good thing. I know there's more I gotta talk about.
Yes, you want to talk about title, Premier?
Yeah, so there is a new title company coming into town, which is called Premier Title. We have been told by a number of our agents, they have been approached by Premier Title to join the title company. And if you look at our ICA and our policy and procedures manual, it strictly prohibits agents from doing that. The reason it is because when we went and checked with RESPA and CFPB, the broker has a liability for the proper disclosures to the public, that you're directing your clients to this title company. So if we don't know that you're doing that, and you don't have the proper direction, we as the brokers have liability for that. And by the way, title companies don't, it's the agents and the brokers. So I'm not happy that they're exposing brokers in town. I've checked with every major real estate company, they all restrict this from happening. And most of our agents hopefully have not done that, but I'm telling you, please don't do it because it requires us to terminate you. Because it's not only, it's a liability for our whole company, and it's a liability for you as an agent. And yes, they're dangling dollar signs, but what they don't understand, and I understand title companies really well, as Mr. Cunningham knows, the debt of the purchase of the title share, which is $1.3 million, that's what it costs to buy the one share. The agents own 50% of that, which means they have to be credited on their side of that ledger, that debt, including they have to have $400,000 in deposits. So there's $1 million that has to be raised to go through the title company before they get any money. Well, that's, if you know how many title policies you have to do to pay that, it's like 4,500. So it's gonna be a long time before I think they're gonna get paid because the money has to go back and get the payment. And that's a RESPA requirement. So I'm just telling you, please don't do that. I don't want to let anybody go, but that's the way it is out there. So any questions, I'm happy to answer.
Thank you, Jeff. Just two other comments possibly about that. Please review what I sent out to everyone because I got even more specific about your individual liability as an agent. And think about it this way. The Consumer Finance Protection Bureau, which is the enforcement arm of RESPA, okay? They're the heavies. People, agents are this close to the transaction. The broker is not. You guys are. So when the scrutiny happens, guess what they're looking at? And so it's, you know, you don't want to be caught in that. And here's the problem. Individual agents don't know for sure whether the title company that they're involved with is meeting all of the RESPA requirements. And there are many, many, and some that are scary as hell. One of the reasons we chose Title Security is because they currently and for years have run successful operations, have gone through audit after audit and passed with flying colors. So we know they're compliant. This new title company from Phoenix coming down here, the agents don't know for sure. They could be. Let's hope they are.
No, they're not compliant after using agents.
That's correct.
CFPB said we want companies, not agents. Because they know there's no way to regulate the proper disclosures on agents by brokers if they don't know you're in.
So if an agent wants to go be a broker and open as a company, but even then, if they're a sole proprietor as a company, and they're still disclosed because they're actively doing real estate. even then, I'd be concerned. That's why it has to be, it's set up with RESPA, and RESPA has been around for years. This is not something that's new. So if you have any specific questions about this, please address it with Jeff, myself, or Mark. We're the most knowledgeable in the company about this and how to keep you out of trouble. Don't let somebody try to sell you something, okay?
The last thing I'd just say that in Southern California, there was a agent that was working with a title company. Actually, that was escrow services, because that's how they paid over there. No disclosure, was fined $300,000 by CFPB. One deal, the broker was fined $300,000 on one deal. So $600,000 paid on one non-disclosure. I don't, you guys tell me if that's worth it to get $4,000 a year.
Too risky.
Yeah, I'm telling you. The other thing I want to talk about is that we've put out some notices on the TCPA law, which is the do not call list. We're going to have a panel on December 11th at 11 o'clock here. We're going to put it on our YouTube channel. We're going to have our attorney in here. Basically, people have called me because when we put this out, said, "Why are you doing this to me?" Well, I'm not. This is a federal law. This was emphasized by a Supreme Court hearing that what we can and can't do. So we're going to put this out, so we'll have the YouTube channel. Everybody will be able to watch. It'll be connected to our webpage. You guys can watch it. And the liability is on the agent's shoulders because they're the independent contractor. Our documents that you've signed say you've got to check the do not call list. We have one internally, which we ask you to do. It's a dangerous situation. When I first started real estate, we all used to send letters. Well, letters seem to be okay. But you text, call, or fax, and you haven't checked and you don't have written permission to contact these people, which I don't know how you get that, because you got to contact them to get the written permission. So, and we have 2 lawsuits against us presently, not for very much money. But I will tell you that it's been reported that agents and companies, since this has been out, have paid $50 million. And there is a lawsuit against KW, Remax, My Home Group, Caldwell Banker. No, this is TCPA.
Consumer Protection Act.
This is, you can't go and call like expired leads without having a business relationship for the prior 6 months or having a right that you can call them without first checking both our do not call list, which is we have, and also the federal one, which you have to pay money to get into that. If they're in there, you can't call them. And it's a very scary law. There are class action lawsuits all across the country right now. And so we're going to put this out. And frankly, it's not covered by our E&O insurance. And it's also in our agreements that the liability sits directly on the agent's shoulders and pay the fee. So it's huge, and you got to be real careful with that. So we're going to have this video. We're going to have the attorney. We're going to have a PowerPoint. We're going to invite some agents that are doing the calls. So we can have questions and answers. So she answered this for everybody. We put this out numerous times, but I think this will be more helpful. And it's also helpful for us that we're trying to educate you on what to do. Then you can educate me on what to do. What's next?
I think you covered it. We're going to go off schedule just for a little bit, and Mark, I'm sorry, we're going to delay yours. There's our featured guest speaker today, Teresa Barnaby, who we all know and love, and she's the one providing us our online continuing education credits that Mark's going to talk about later. Teresa has an appointment, so we need to get her up here so she can have maximum amount of time to talk about disruptors that are influencing all of our business right now and some things we can do as agents to overcome that.
Yay. It's good to be here.
And Teresa,
Be
be aware the microphone is there, don't stand in front of it.
What? Okay, so We hear this term all the time called the industry disruptors, yes? And my challenge to you today is that you really think about being your own industry disruptor. Because if we're not going to be our own, I guarantee you there are plenty out there that are. And so I want to cover just a couple that I think you really need to hear the inside scoop, that most of us kind of hear things and then we have a different interpretation. I just want you to hear it and I want you to interpret it your way and figure out what the heck can you do? Because I'm here to tell you that if we as an industry do not do something, I don't know where we're going to be. And I've never said that because as a leader in the industry, it's difficult for me to have that kind of perspective. But I'm being really transparent here that I don't know what we would look like in 5 to 10 years. AAR interviewed me one time and they said, well, what do you think the state of real estate education is going to be? And I said, it's going to be whatever the industry is. And I don't know what that looks like in 5 years. Okay? So when you start seeing some of the things, it's not the doom and gloom aspect that I want you to keep. It's what do I get to do? Now that I know this, what do I get to do? Because sitting back, allowing other things to happen is not where we want to be. So I do research, like constantly. That's kind of like what I really do. And so the very first thing I want to share with you, go ahead, is this report that shows the most popular real estate websites in the United States. And number one is who? And number two is who? Which is really who? Yeah, right? And so then you go down to Yahoo Homes, which is just a collaboration of a bunch of different sites. They don't really even have their own site anymore. And then there we sit at a pale 18% realtor.com. Okay, so if we expect somebody else to be doing this for us, it's not going to happen. So we got to do it for ourselves. This is just the top 5. Now, I ran another report, and this is the top 15 best real estate sites. And this is all by like they took all these statistics from different website rating sites, and here's what we have. This is, again, just the top 5, because you're going to start seeing a pattern here. Who's number 1? Who's number 2? Right? I mean, it's almost the exact same list, except homes.com was number 4 on the previous list. So what's the pattern here, and who do you think we should start with first? Yeah, we should probably take a look at Zillow first. So I want to show you that this was the headline back in April of 2018, where it said that Zillow is going to begin buying and selling houses. Now, how many of you have already been dealing with the iBuyer programs, Zillow offers? And yeah, so they're out there. Now, if you don't know about them yet, believe me, they're getting stronger and stronger every month, even through the pandemic. And so I'm going to show you some stuff about that. So go ahead. Now, when I did a class, this is how John thought that we should probably do this today. I did a class a couple of weeks ago or so for you all, and this was the homepage of Zillow. When you went to Zillow.com, this is what they said: sell to Zillow, we'll handle the rest. Now, I want you to start looking at what they say and how they say it, because I'm a firm believer that if you want to be successful, do what successful people do. Right? And if number 1, Zillow, on multiple different research sites is doing this, we should probably what? Follow suit. And I'm a firm believer of R&D, as long as you're not in copyright infringement. R&D means rip off and duplicate. So you know, if you're doing Facebook posts or on your business page or on your website, why don't you just say, work with me, I'll handle the rest? You see what I'm saying? Like all of a sudden we're like, I don't know what to write. I don't know how to do ad copy. Well, just watch what your competition's doing. And a lot of people sit and say, Zillow's not my competition. Zillow's your competition. Yeah, exactly. All right. Today, not today. So let's see. Whenever I was getting ready for this presentation, sometime this weekend, this is what happened when I went to Zillow.com. So my point in sharing this with you is a lot of times we put up a website and we are like stagnant. Like, when was the last time you changed your look on your website? Or is it just the way it's always been? Or your Facebook business page, it's the way it's always been. So within weeks, I don't know how many times they've changed it up, but this is what it was this weekend. Now, what are they saying? No, put that over. What are they saying? We'll help you find a place you'll love. Who does that? Now, I'm gonna get really fired up because this ticks me off. I'm gonna say, right, who does that better than us? We have been helping people find places to live forever and a day. These guys come in, well, they've been around since 2000-ish, but 2018, now all of a sudden they're like, oh yeah, look, we're the helpers. Guys, they shouldn't have that. That should be us. We should not be helping people reimagine homes, especially right now where it's multiple generations living in the household, or people taking care of people, or people having to move into assisted living, whatever life-changing situation they have going on. So why aren't we saying stuff like that? Now, don't do it verbatim, guys, because we're not copyright infringers here, right? Just get the idea and start getting your mind going in the same direction so that you can be your disruptor in your industry, okay? Now, this is what they say. Look at the very top line. What does it say? Y'all got cameras somewhere. We have the most listings and constant updates, so you'll never miss out. You know why they have the most listings? Because they're in our MLS. So really, who has most listings first? We do. But do we ever tell people that? How many of you have ever run a marketing campaign that says, hey, we have the most listings, we have the most current information? You know what we do? We sit around and say, oh, so there's so many. Right? I'm asking you to take the opposite approach. 2021 is going to be a great year, but we got to start looking at things differently. So buy a home, sell a home, rent a home. They'll do it all for us, and they're doing even more. So, Craig, that you guys are going to have competition. Okay, go ahead. So in August of 2019, yeah, a little over a year ago, Zillow offers, it's their iBuyer program, right? A seller can just say, I'm interested in selling my house, and then Zillow will make them a cash offer, and they can close whenever they want to close. Well, this is what this is what their map looked like. So they didn't have that many blue cities. The blue cities are where they were offering the iBuyer program. The yellow cities were coming soon. Now, I'm going to let you watch the screen for a second and watch the transition. Everyone but one turned blue. So when I say they're growing and they're moving pretty consistently inside of this era of 2020 where everybody thinks, oh, no, yeah, it's 2020. The only city yet to launch was Oklahoma City. And Jacksonville was launched in September 9th. So they've continued to progress in the past year. So they're on our heels. You feel it? If you don't feel it, stand up and I'll tap the back of your head because they're right there, right? So when I talk about, well, what do they do to get such a presence in the iBuyer program? And I know some people sit and say, yeah, but that's not profitable. You're still losing money. Forget that garbage. That's their problem. This is your problem, right? So here's the marketing that Zillow offers the sellers. No open houses, 3D virtual home tours, so nobody has to come to your house, right? The self-tour technology with the app, and then they have the whole clean, protect, and distance program. Okay, so you tell me what 4 bullet points you can say about you and your business right now. What do you think? You don't need to tell me. I just want you to start thinking in that direction. Okay? So this one really lit my fire. Who's up there? It says Zillow offers, but whose name is above Zillow offers?
Here.
So what Zillow's doing right now is they're going around and they're merging with these new home construction companies. Now look, I don't know what you know, but according to NAR's chief economist, our salvation in the low inventory issue is going to come at about mid-year of next year because of all the new home construction starts. Right? That's going to be our relief in the low listing inventory because now the new builds are right now. Yeah, well, when you look at the permits, it's going to be even bigger. So now Zillow thinks ahead 5 steps, and says, all right, wait a minute, that's gonna be our industry salvation. How do we merge forces with D.R. Horton or the likes of any home build, because you know they're not gonna stop at one, right? They're not gonna stop at one city, they're not gonna stop at one builder. And so what they did is they joined forces. Now here's how it works. You own a home and you want to move into a new construction home by D.R. Horton. No problem. Let Zillow offers buy your house. You can stay in it until the home is being built, at which point Zillow's going to come in and give you your cash sales price. And then you can, you know, like move once, streamline the move. No big deal. So I've been teaching for years, like a marketing technique. Go meet every single site salesperson that you can in the geographic area that you work. Because they can't list properties outside of the subdivision. So that was a perfect relationship for us. You get a buyer, you call me, I'm your agent, I'll list their property. I mean, a match for that one. That's how I tell you that. I'll list your property, and then you move into your new home. Now, if Zillow continues to do what they do, we've lost a niche market that some of us may not have ever taken advantage of and probably should have taken advantage of. So if you haven't yet, don't bother with the D.R. Hortons because they're in bed with Zillow. Go find other new home construction sites. Go meet with the other new home builders and start forging relationships. Because in the absence of a relationship, and those of you that were in class, you heard me say this, in the absence of a relationship with an agent, they will go to the likes of the Zillow. So if we're not forging relationships with our database, if we're not forging relationships with new home builders, if we're not forging relationships with title and mortgage, look out, guys, just saying, okay? So not only will they do this so that it's a one move and it's seamless and it's perfect timing for the buyer, thus the seller, they'll also get $2,000 in credit closing costs. And then they'll provide a moving job, a moving company. And I looked up the moving company, and they are in Tucson. They are in Phoenix. Now, they're not in the outlying areas, but they are in the major metropolitan areas. And so wherever D.R. Horton is, I imagine they'll probably start this expansion. Now, this is off of the D.R. Horton site. This isn't off the Zillow site. So look at what D.R. Horton is selling, right? So D.R. Horton is selling no repairs or open houses, yeah, because of Zillow buys, right? Align with the close of your home. One, you don't have to move twice. You know, no, we got all excited about the pods, right? Because that makes it easy to move twice. But these guys are now saying, you know, just move once, right? And then you got tremendous amount of support, and we're just going to tell you what the pricing is on. And if the pricing changes over the course of the construction time, we'll deal with that. And it's, I mean, you just got to sit and research, and you'll see everything that they have to say. It's pretty amazing. Go ahead. Now, see on the bottom where it says Zillow Home Loans and Zillow Closing Services? Yep. So they're already there. Now I want to take you back up to the main headline, and it says Zillow plans to create real estate brokerages. And the first places that they're coming to? January 1st. Well, hang on to that question, because let me show you some other things that they're doing. You might be able to connect the dots and say, oh, shoot, right? So they're starting in Atlanta, Phoenix, Tucson. This is the first time Tucson has ever been a part of the startup operation Zillow. They usually start up in Phoenix, right? So the state, now their eyes are on the state. So if they're going from Phoenix to Tucson, where else they go? Because you're not going to hit central Arizona and southern Arizona and not hit northern Arizona, right? I mean, it just makes sense. So we're one of the first three where they're literally going to have a brokerage here in town. So you could be driving down the street, see a brick and mortar. Oh, the agents are going to be employees of Zillow, and they promise that they won't take our territory or our agents. But they will take all the houses that they bought through the iBuyer program, or the Zillow Offers program, and the list goes. Just saying. So it's getting worse. It's not getting better. They're not going away. And we thought we had this real start at the very beginning that said, well, the estimates, they're so bad. Nobody's going to want to do anything with Zillow. And they've never gone away. And they're just getting bigger and bigger. And now they're in our back door. Okay, come January 1. And now they're in other services. So there you go. Some people sit and say, yeah, but what about, this whole lending? And yeah, well, if you want a DR Horton home, you go through their mortgage company. Where are the incentives going to start coming? You can. They haven't said anything about that, but besides the 2,000 closing costs in the movie, but the writing's on the wall. Like, where else are they going to take this? Because they can take it anywhere they want. They've got tons of money. Okay? They may not be making money, but they got tons of money because they got a lot of backers. Okay. All right. So I thought, now I really want to know what they're doing and how they're getting away with it, and how they can say, we have the most up-to-date information. Now, most people think Zillow is a company out there that's just, on the stock market, right? So this is off of their website. Actually, it's off the Trulia website, because the Trulia website is touting all these listings, and they say, oh, we get our listings from an MLS because Zillow is licensed. So I thought, oh my gosh, I gotta see it at the very top, the fine print. It says, see here for our real estate licenses. So guess what? I just clicked on it and go ahead, click again. So let me make it really easy for you. They have licenses in all 50 states across the country. Oh, I don't know if that was about that or something else, but it should be about that. Right? So what does real estate look like 5 years from now, 10 years from now, when companies like Zillow.com have licenses across the United States in every single state plus Washington, D.C. Okay? And can they change the way we do business? Yeah. Our listing presentations that we're so proud of going in and doing and sitting at the kitchen table and all that good stuff? Yeah. Zillow doesn't do that. So how is what they do, like this online component, going to affect you? And how are you going to protect your own individual business, and how is leadership going to protect our brokerages? Right? So we got some work to do, and now's a really good time to take a look at it. So let's move off of Zillow and move into Trulia. So Trulia, owned by Zillow, and this is the only one I'm going to cover. I'm going to cover the others in the top 5. Go ahead. This is their saying. I took this right off of their website, and I'm like, are you serious? Like, that finding a new home in a neighborhood is no easy task? How do you know that? They're just sitting on your computer. You have no idea what we go through to help a buyer find a home, especially in this market, right? Crazy. So, but yet they can say it, and then they're going to say, well, the market shifts over time, and when it changes, you need to come to us, because our housing research always is strive to help people. Well, what's our CMA? What's our MLS database? What's our PR? What? But they have what it takes to just broadcast it, and we just take it as, well, it's just what we do. It's just what we do. I always said every agent should make a list of at least 101 things they do to help their sellers and help their buyers, and put the littlest things out there, like lockbox, sign in your front door, access to MLS, which we just take for granted as a part of our business. And these guys choose to tout it like nobody ever knew this. Like they're making this grand announcement. Go ahead. Yeah, I get really, yeah. So when truly I hired this guy who was the chief economist. Now he was the chief economist for BuildZoom. Now listen to this and start connecting some dots. BuildZoom was an internet site that put property owners in touch with contractors and builders and renovators. I'm gonna let you think about that for a second. That's where he came from. Now he's at Trulia. Now he sees Zillow and being with the DR Hortons, right? So where else is it going to go? I have no idea. No idea. And there's some mixed reputation stuff out there about BuildZoom, but you can research that. but go ahead. This is what they said. Now, they can say this, that now that he's on board within the next couple of weeks, and this was back in 2019, you know, we're gonna see a lot of stuff come out because he's gonna have insight into the real estate market. From behind a desk in an ivory tower. I've worked behind the desk in an ivory tower for a Fortune 200 company, so I know what that's like. You gotta get in the front line, right? And then I thought, well, I'm gonna see how much he had to say. So I Googled him, and there's nothing. There's nothing. His announcement came out, there's been nothing since his announcement, no matter which way I research it, okay? But the thing is, they said, what? We're the go-to people because we're the ones that analyze the data. We're going to have the insights. We're going to tell you what's up about your house and house value. No, they're not saying those words, but that's exactly what that means. And so I sit and say, who has more data on the front line than we do? Because my question is, why aren't we using this? Anybody know what this is? Yeah, it's the MLS market stats. Go ahead and do it again. And you can get it in a lot of different ways. So who can better analyze the data right here on the front line? Who can do that better than us? Probably nobody. Nobody. But yet you get an economist that comes in, you can hear it one more time. You get an economist comes in, he says, oh no, I'm going to give you all of this data and statistics and research analysis. I'm going to tell you the value of your home. Yeah, because Trulia now has estimates, right? So now instead of just estimates, we have Trulia estimate. All right, go ahead one more. So I'm going to ask you something else. Who's the expert in our industry? We are. And nobody knows more what it's like to sell a home and have to move than the entire process from start to finish, and buy a home and have to move the entire process from start to finish. Yet Trulia, this is off of their site, they have buyer, seller, and renter guides. Like if you want to know anything, guys, they don't need us anymore. Somebody else is kind of like usurping what we do that's in our blood, right? And who are they to put out buyer guides and seller guides? So this is an example of their buyer guide, and these are all the topics. And I can say, okay, now what's the easiest way to counter that? And the easiest way to counter that is your website has to have buyer guides and seller guides, and if you're in property management, it should have renter guides. Or the company should put them up there. And then you can say, oh my gosh, what would it take to write one of those? Go ahead and click it. What would it take to write one of those? Is you go to NAR that we're members of, that we've already paid for, and go pull down their buyer guides, their seller guides. They don't have renter guides. Huh?
Get it from your title company.
From your title company. Somewhere, because if every time a buyer goes to Trulia, because we know that everybody, well, okay, not everybody, like 92% of the buyers go online in their buying process. 51% buy the house they found online without an agent. You know, and then the very first thing they do in the morning is they wake up and they go to search online for homes when they decide, oh, I'm going to buy a house. They don't call us. It pales in comparison, unfortunately. So if they're going to Trulia, and then Trulia is telling them what does it take to buy a home, what does it take to sell a home, what are they going to do for them? We're the ones that do it. But if we don't start doing it in a really big way, we'll lose the opportunity. Because these guys are almost an unstoppable. So you could sit there right now. You can sit there right now and say, okay, Teresa, how do I be the disruptor? Well, you can't fight City Hall, right? You can't, us as individual licensees, we can't fight the Zillows and the Trulias of the world. What we can do is get so into our own marketing, so into our sphere of influence, into our database, that constant contact, right? Figure out what you're going to do in geofarming. Figure out what you're going to do outside of your sphere of influence to make things happen for yourselves. And then the leadership has to sit and say, okay, well, what are we going to put out that anybody can access? You know, what's our behind the scenes? What's our website look like? What are the tools? they're better apt to take it up a notch. And then what's our leadership doing? You know, like what's TAR doing? What's NAR doing? What's AAR doing? And if you have any interest in being a disruptor on any of those levels, go. Sign up, volunteer, like get involved, because we got to do something first at our level right here as an individual licensee. Second is the brokerages that are going to fight another brokerage coming in January. And then on the state level, because Zillow is licensed in the state of Arizona. And then what are we going to do on the national level, because they're licensed all the way across the country. So somewhere our industry has to kick it in. That's all. I mean, I don't feel like in 5 to 10 years, and I don't think some of you in this room would want that. So what are you going to do right now to start thinking 2021, my best year ever, because I'm kicking it in. These are my people. These are my towns, my cities. I belong here, and I'm the one that's going to work here. So I challenge each and every one of you to figure out what you're going to want, differently than you didn't do in 2020. And you got to make it happen, because if you don't make it happen, somebody else is going to. Okay? Good?
Bruce has to take a call here, and you go to the answer.
Yes.
So I know the lady you went to very well. One thing that I know is that they don't make money buying houses, they make money on their mortgage and the title. So the advantage that we have is they are trying to get the lowest price possible. That's their goal on iBuyer, and what is our goal? To get the highest price possible. So I think that's something we should be touting, that a lot of these iBuyers are missing. Because, and just when COVID hit, what happened to the iBuyers? They all left the market for about 2 months, because they thought what was going to happen is the values are going to go down. If they own a house, the values go down, they lose money on it, now they make nothing. When they realized that interest rates were changed, the values started coming, they came right back into the market. So it's to our advantage, I think, to tout that part of it, that we are getting the highest price, and they're, by the way their business is set up, to get the lowest price.
Mm-hmm. So they quit buying in Tucson on March 23rd, and they resumed, like, don't quote me on this date, but I think it was like May 18th they resumed.
And right in the middle of that time, we have interest rates.
Yeah. Now I will say this, just to the other side of the coin. So I had a friend who had a son who was selling their house, and they called me because he was entertaining an iBuyer program, and I said, look, just let me run a CMA for you, and let's see what, let's get some facts, and then we can make a decision off the facts. So I ran the CMA, and then he went to Open Door gave him a bid. Guys, it was at market value. Almost fell off my chair. Market value, his own closing date, no repairs. He was going to leave the washer, dryer, and refrigerator, and they said, no, take it with you. So he turned around and sold and paid more money. So we have to be careful, because we just got to know what they're doing. So how do we do it, whether they're going in lowballing or whether they're going in market value? Well, here's the deal. You get in and you represent them. And as part of your representation, you reach out for the iBuyers and see what kind of offers you can get for your site. And then the iBuyer program, and Heather Arnott did this, so go talk to her. The iBuyer program was only paying the agent 1%, so she negotiated with the seller the balance of what she wanted in her commission and got it. So, like, don't let them intimidate you, like, use them.
Right.
You're an archer, I'm going to use you.
So I do hear that there are some of them are making market offers, because they're about 45 to 60 days before they put it back on the market.
Yeah.
And how much is they going up in that 60 days? 7%. And so they make that difference there, and all they're trying to do is get rid of the cost of them, have insurance on it, have inspections on it, pay utilities on it, there's taxes on it, they pay all that. All I want to do is, if I pay $200,000 for the house, I want to get $200,000 back. That's what they want. They want to break even. So they buy it at 200 and the market goes up and they can sell it at 210, that covers their cost, and they make the money on mortgage title. And that's their game.
Yeah.
So it's still think that we as agents can represent buyers and sellers much better in this market because of what our fiduciary obligations. The truth is, their fiduciary obligations should be the same, but their employees are not.
And the other thing is they collect fees that could go up to 7.25%.
Right.
And then the commissions are over and above that.
But that's what I found interesting. When I did one on my house, the fees were so much more, regardless of the business. But I guess you're paying for convenience.
Okay, so you're paying for convenience and you're paying for the marketing that you see constantly, which is why I come back to that all the time, right? If you keep telling me no hassle, just close in your own time, if you keep telling me all that stuff and all of a sudden I start believing that's important, guess what? I'm not even looking at that it costs me more. It's the price of convenience. It's why you go to Circle K down the street and you pay more for a loaf of bread than if you went to Safeway. Price of convenience. And you keep telling me that convenience is more important. I believe you, I'm going to pay for it.
I guess do the research on these. I mean, I actually went and had an offer from like 4 different companies purposely because they all offer. You guys have got to show your value because a lot of them are offering full price because they're willing to take that to bargain and they hope I get more. But they have deep investors that say, hey, let's buy market share. I guarantee when Zillow's here, they're going to buy market share to say, hey, look, come here, I'm doing something.
People have changed. I got real estate in 1977. Today's society is, I want it now. That's why the home builders, with all these permits that are up there, they've realized that if they have finished houses or close to finished houses, they're going to sell them and going. So we have a house and we'll have it done in 7 months for you or 6 months for you. People don't want to wait that long. They want instant gratification. The internet's caused that problem. So just understand that's why there is a convenience. I do some consulting with Blackstone, Group, the largest hedge fund in the United States, and they're loaning a lot of money to these companies. And they believe that they will get about 4% of the marketplace in the United States. They're at less than 1 now, but that's all of the iBuyers together. So they think they can, they're about 0.5% nationally, so they think they can equal, which I think about 8% of the mortgages and titles in the country are equal.
Right. Mortgage, title, and trillions of dollars in closed business every year.
And they have unlimited.
Yeah, you only need a small percent. Anything else?
So I'm going to put Teresa on the spot. We've known each other for a lot of years. You can tell us we both have white hair.
You gave it to me.
Yeah, vice versa. So, we are committed as a brokerage to helping you understand what's happening. Not only this compelling presentation this morning is just the tip of the iceberg. I think an ongoing process, collaborating with Teresa and our leadership to bring you more information, especially what you can do on a regular basis. One of the things I know you can do this summer, in the middle of COVID, Teresa did a 7-part video series. Okay, and my guess is most of the agents in the company did not participate in that. So we can send that out again. But we're going to collaborate with Teresa in the coming months to bring more and more information to the table and strong suggestions. We've got a lot of experience. We'd like your input too about things that you would like from us that we can bring to the table. And with technology today, we don't all have to be in the same room, okay? We do have a YouTube channel, so we can make all of that happen. What do you all think about that? Okay, that's why you're realty executives, because we do care. We watch the future. Jeff is really, really good at making sure that we stay on top of things And when we have somebody as talented, as knowledgeable, and as a great researcher like Teresa, we're gonna use those talents. So we want to thank you for making time for us this morning, and we'll be talking real soon about everything we just promised the agents. So, Mr. Kim, be brief. No, please.
Sort of dovetailing with Teresa, we have got the next year all laid out for all of our classes for continuing ed. Oh, sorry, wrong direction. Test. So we've got, starting in January 26th, we've got first class, one for every month. So we're all set for the month, and you can go to, where's it, agent? Where's it going to be posted? The Time Agent
Training Center, training calendar.
Okay, so if you want to schedule your classes for the next year, you're all set. And also the videos we've been putting out, Mark's Moments, we've got a variety of topics there. We've done a 3-part Binzer. They're little videos that are like 3 to 5 minutes max, and they're just to give a brief overview of topics that we get frequent calls on. We've done the 3-part Binzer, appraisal waiver on cash offers, backup offers, buyer broker agreements, cure notices. So there's a lot of things that I think that maybe John and Jeff and I are probably, and Craig are going to direct you guys for some of the phone calls we get. If it's in these areas that we've already kind of done a video on, we may direct you to that to give you a basic overview of it. So I think they hit the highlights, and it should give you at least answer most of your questions. And if it doesn't answer your questions, always feel free to give one of us a call after that. So we're going to put these out every Wednesday. They're going to come through, I think Wednesdays, you've got to have a link to access them, and you'll get emailed that every Wednesday, I believe. Sorry? It'll be coming from Georgina. So, any questions?
So one suggestion, make a folder. If you use, Gmail, you use Outlook, whatever it is, make a folder, put everything, Mark's minutes in a folder. So when you get that email from Georgina and you don't have time right at that moment to connect to that link, it's him discussing things that only you should hear as agents of the brokerage. Shouldn't be with other agents outside the brokerage or the public. It's for your ears only. Make that folder, and when you have a few minutes of downtime, you're waiting in the doctor's office, that's a great opportunity to plug your earbuds in and listen and watch the video. And I think your real estate education, that's part of the value that we sell, is our understanding, a strong understanding of the process of real estate, okay? So he's taken a lot of time, and thank you, Craig Thompson, our Hout Road manager, for helping Mark with the taping. We think this is a good way for you to digest things.
It's not intended to be legal advice, but it's just our understanding of what the interpretation of the contract is. We would never recommend that in place of the client getting attorney. But I think it'll answer a lot more questions that we get calls about. But thanks, guys.
Thank you, Mark. Really appreciate it. Carla.
Hey, y'all. I'm back.
And she'll talk fast.
I promise. I will try to keep this short. So a little bit end of year cleanup. As you know, we are on December 1st, and we have started our 1099 process. We need to make sure that if you have recently moved in the last few months or in this last year, that you have sent in your new home address. That way we could go ahead and update our accounting system. So when we print out those 1099s in January, we'll be sending them to the correct mailing address. That first week of January, please keep an eye out on your emails. We will be sending out another pre-1099. Now this is going to be from October 1st all the way through the end of the year. I know earlier John and Title were talking about that December 30th closing. Keep in mind, if you have a December 30th or 31st closing and Title doesn't send out commission checks that same day, we don't receive those checks on the last day of the year, but yet we receive it on January 2nd. That now counts as commission for the new year. You will still be receiving your volume credit for the year 2020, but because the company has not received in their hands that monies until the 2nd, it will not be counted towards your 2020 1099. We always get those questions. It is when monies is actually received in the hands of the brokerage. Unfortunately, we went back and forth with our CPA to make sure that it was done correctly, because unfortunately there was checks that were placed in the mail. We didn't receive it until, supposedly it was printed and dated in December of a certain year, and then we didn't receive it until February of the following year. By then, 1099s have already been reported to the IRS. They've already been mailed out. So from CPA advice, we have decided, and it is the right way of doing it, if monies is received in the office on the 31st, it will count for that physical year. And we're here till 5, doors are open till 5. Last year, our staff was here till almost 8 o'clock on New Year's Eve processing all of those checks so they could be counted correctly. So want to make sure that you're aware of that. So if you have a closing on the 30th or 31st, and you want to make sure it's counted for this physical year, you want to make sure that that money is received in the office on the 31st by 5 o'clock. Another thing, I know December usually becomes a month where everyone starts thinking about doing a PLLC or a PC for the new year. You want to make sure that if you haven't already, that you have registered with the ACC, Arizona Corporations Commission's, your articles, as well as you have applied for your EIN if that's what you're going to be using with the IRS. Once that has all been approved by ACC, you want to make sure that you are submitting that to ADRE for approval. We're not able to pay you as a PC or a PLLC until that information has been approved by ADRE. So December, that's usually when everyone starts working on that. If that is something you don't want to go into effect until the new year, you want to go ahead and submit all that information to ADRE that last week of December if you know you're not going to be having any closings. So that way you're not going to be receiving a closing under your PC or your PLLC for this year. So with that said, I am going to go ahead and share my screen really quick. Hopefully it works for me. I've been having some issues. 8 years in the making, Jeff, what can I say? Yes. So I'm first going to go ahead and start with, oh, something went wrong. With Sky Slope, sorry. Let me move this out of the way. So with Sky Slope, we have been having quite a few calls in regards to forms not appearing in the forms library, and Sky Slope has been working on updating it. As you know, zip forms will be going away the end of the year. I've also heard that supposedly some individuals aren't able to access zip forms currently, so it could be very possible that their access has already been removed. So I am under the Forms app. Donna, I'm gonna use you for an example. So Donna gave me a call, I believe it was last week or so, and she was struggling trying to find her libraries. Well, for some reason, her AAR library had dropped off of her library's form. That is something very easy to fix. And I know that's been happening to quite a few agents. So if you go up to where your name would be displayed, you have your user profile, you have your associations. If you click on associations, once you have registered under the forms, all of your association libraries will be here. So if for some reason one of those libraries has dropped off, you would have your Arizona Association of Realtors, which is your AAR. It would have a little plus sign, you would hit the plus sign, and then magically your forms will automatically reappear in your library. So that is an easy fix, especially if you decide to go and become a secondary member at another association. Sometimes Those associations won't appear after you've already registered for the first time. Jeff is a member of every single association in the state of Arizona now. So if you become a secondary member, let's say in the White Mountains, you don't see the White Mountains library on there, you could go in here and go ahead and hit that little plus sign. Any questions in regards to associations and libraries? No? Okay, good. Another question that we've been getting is, I want to be able to go and download a blank form without having to create a file. So the workaround that is, unfortunately at the moment, SkySlope has not put in a blank library for us. So the easiest way is to create a test file, and that way you can go ahead and drop all your forms in there. So when you're in your forms, you go to create a file. No thanks, I don't want to take a tour. You could do seller, you could leave all that blank. Here you could do test file. You could import a template if you want, and you could create a file. From here, you're able to add all of the forms that you would like. So here I could go and add an addendum. And sorry, I have my little thing here. So now that I have these forms, anytime that you come up to a form that you just need a blank form, you would go to your test file and you have 3 little buttons up top and you're able to hit download. So now you could go ahead and download this form, and then you would be able to print it or share it with your client if you're just wanting to review it beforehand. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's also another way of doing it. But with the templates, unfortunately, you can't download them yet. Yeah. Yeah, that's the only caveat about that. You're not able to download it from your template. So the best way of doing it for the moment until we have that library available for us to just go in and print is to create that test file. Yes.
So I created my templates, I filled in the information where necessary, and I pull in outside documents. And at this point, my understanding is I can't set those outside documents up as a template.
That is correct. That is something that's going to be featured in the first quarter of its updates. That has been something that we have been working with SkySlope on, just because we do know that we do have quite a few property management teams that do have their own forms. So they first were trying to make sure all the association forms had no glitches. Unfortunately, we have ran across 1 or 2 forms we send in. It's in regards to the mapping of where signatures have to go, and they have been able to fix those. And then it is our understanding that first quarter, they're doing another rollout of their forms to be able to upload, just here, your form. So when you bring it in to your signatures, you'd be able to apply the template that you've created for it.
I have like 23 pages of agenda. If you have 4 tenants and you have to initial 10 times on the page, that's a lot of places to have to fill those in.
Yeah.
So I have those created in DigiSign. Is there any way to get DigiSign to talk to?
Unfortunately, those 2 aren't talking at the moment. But again, it's my understanding that that first quarter rollout, the 2 systems will eventually talk.
So understand one thing about SkySlope to us, another broker that used them with the new iteration, that was pre-COVID. And COVID has really slowed down the development process because they had to scramble at the last minute. Their collaboration teams all work together in a building. And then they had to go remote, and they had to use collaboration tools, online collaboration tools that really slowed us down for 3 or 4 months. There wasn't a lot of activity. So they're catching up. This will be what we expected it to be. I'm sure by the end of the first quarter, Carla puts pressure on them all the time to get this done.
Yeah, we've been working really close. we've been working really close with their development team. I know that we brought in a few agents to help us with the beta testing of the forms, and we found glitches here and there. They fixed them. And as it evolves, of course, they're going to come up with, oh, we didn't encounter this during the beta test. So that first quarter rollout, we're going to be seeing a change in our SkySlope forms as well as SkySlope in all. As easy as create a file. So I also had questions, and I've overheard some agents talk about, wow, well, this is great. I send out my forms for signatures. It comes back, then I'm downloading it, saving it onto my computer to then save it into a new file. That is like 5 extra steps that individual just took versus just creating a file directly from SkySlope. So I'm just going to take this example. I've sent these documents out for signatures and all of my forms look great. Well, now I just want to go back into my SkySlope side, which here we are, and I'm able to go ahead and I'm just going to do it as a listing. And here I'm just going to go ahead and create a listing. One of the things that has been missed throughout this is I'm here to enter a listing. Here it's going to go ahead and look up an address, or you could do it directly from your forms. By clicking on that forms button, any forms that you have already created in the SkySlope Forms app will automatically come over with all of its data. So here are all these test files that I've made. I could go ahead and select one, continue, and then, sorry, got to do a few extra little steps. I'll do here and go here. I already have Jane Doe in there. So it's going to automatically bring over the information you entered on your forms. I'll hit next. There's some information, and all of a sudden now I'm able to create my file. Now, all of the forms that were in that template will automatically appear. Oh, I didn't have any forms in there. That's my problem. Sorry. They would appear under your documents. And then you would be able to split them if it was one large PDF directly from there, or you could go to your checklist and just do an attach. So that is one of the things that will actually assist you with creating your files much quicker. Any questions in regards to creating files? No? Okay. Well, that's all I really have. On SkySlope, the only other thing is MLS. So 2 weeks ago, MLS decided to get rid of their full search, and they now have a quick search. And we've been getting quite a few questions of, how do I search for a subdivision? How do I search for a township range section, etc.? Well, everyone has their menu button. You have your quick search. From quick search, you're actually able to do everything from here. Even though it doesn't say subdivision, you have all your subdivisions here. If you want to do township range section, you would check mark your little township range button. You would be able to enter your township range and section, but they've really made it for a one-stop shop. Instead of you having to go through your entire list and mark which subdivision or which high school or whatnot, you're able to enter that information just right here and it will come up for you. We were a little puzzled. We couldn't figure out how to do a subdivision and we kept entering it. But even if we were to do an enter, you gotta click on it 2 times for it to actually appear under the subdivision. If you only click on it once, nothing unfortunately will come up. Once you clicked on the subdivision you need, you would have to, of course, click on view results, and it looks like there aren't any in that subdivision. But if we know a subdivision, we could do it really quick. So yeah, any questions? Okay, that's all I got for you. John, all yours.
We're going to play, and I apologize, but we also warned you this is a combination of a separate meeting. We're going to run a little bit over. We want to introduce a new partner that many of you are going to find very, very useful. And what it involves is transaction coordinating. Okay, it's a national company where there's always, you don't have to worry about somebody going on vacation or getting sick and not managing your file. And there's some other unique things about them, like they're insured, and there's a price guarantee, and as well as the fact that you won't have to pay for, if a transaction DFTs, you won't have to pay for the transaction coordinating services. So we're going to run a short video. And we're not going to spend a lot of time because we're going to reiterate this. And one thing I want to make clear, this is unlicensed transaction coordinating. Some of you use licensed transaction coordinators because you have them do more things that only a licensee can do. Keep using them, that's fine. This is not to take anything away from people who are currently doing transaction coordinating for agents in our company. This is an added service. And it can be used by some of you that, for instance, are reaching a breaking point. I can't handle it anymore, or I don't want to do any more of this paperwork, and I want to turn it over to somebody when there's no contracts. I can turn it on, turn it off, whenever I want to use it. They have a whole list of services that we'll send out very specifics on. It's called transactioncoordinator.com. And it will send out the information with the meeting notes. So Carla, do you want to roll the short video?
Hi, my name is Lauren Casas, and I am the owner of Coordinators. We are excited to announce our partnership with Realty Executives Arizona Territory to offer our wonderful services to our agents. We started our company in 2017 with the mission to provide our real estate agent partners with the best possible assistance through every file we manage. We use streamlined systems and processes to ensure the best possible experience for the brokerage, the agent, and their clients. Our promise to our agents is we have a no transaction fee guarantee. It's our promise that if the transaction cancels for any reason, you don't owe us any fees for the transaction. If it doesn't close, there's no cost to the agent. We don't get paid unless you do. It's that simple. We will do our best every single day to make sure the transaction gets closed. We offer unparalleled service. And in Arizona, we do like to make sure you are aware of the boundaries that we abide by according to the Arizona Department of Real Estate and the NAR guidelines. So we do offer our assistance as unlicensed assistants, in which case we can perform the following tests, which include but are not limited to filing, forwarding calls, and transcribing calls, and doing clerical work for the licensee. We also can use technology as a tool to complete tasks assigned by the licensee. We can prepare marketing materials approved by the broker. We can deliver documents via email or internet systems, as we are a remote service. We can set and confirm appointments for property inspectors, repair and maintenance people, appraisers. And we can transmit only instructions for information to clients, contractors, inspectors, appraisers, and maintenance repair people as completed and dictated by the licensee. Everything we do, we copy you as the agent on, so you'll always know what's going on with every one of your files. What we can't do is we can't originate documents. So we do need the agents to provide detailed instructions and language for any documents, and then we will be able to create them, send them for approval, and once approved, send them out for signatures to clients. We cannot provide any advice, pricing, or opinions of value to a consumer, and we are not able to provide any advice or negotiation. But that really helps you keep that relationship with you as the agent and ensures that referral business. Now, here's a very detailed list of all of our services, but to keep this short for you, we do have a pricing list that we can send out with all of our detailed information. But we do listing services, which is helping prep the listing to go into the MLS and to get on the market, as well as contract to close services, which is once it's fully executed contract all the way through closing. Now, there are benefits to partnering with us, of course, and the most important benefit is that you get your time back, and you can use that time to generate more business. So for top agents, every 8 hours, they're going to lead gen create about 80 contacts, 4 appointments, 2 listings, and 1 sale. And if you get the 12 hours of time back per file that you're currently investing, not using a coordinator, we will use that and it will actually increase your business. So for every 12 hours saved, you'll earn an additional 120 contacts, 6 appointments, an additional 3 listings, and an additional 1.5 sales. What that means to you for the average Realty Executives agent, that's going to be an increase annually of about 960 contacts, 48 appointments, 24 listings, and 12 sales. Now this is based on Realty Executives Oracle location data that we pulled. So that it will increase for every year. The average agent will get about 12 additional files if they use that time to increase their productivity. So what does that look like for you? Well, the average agent at the Oracle office has 8 closings. That would increase their closings by an additional 12. So they go from 8 to 20 closings. And a top agent may go from 11 to up to 27.5. Of course, again, this is based on the agent taking that additional time and putting it towards productivity, towards getting more clients and selling more houses. What that means for commissions is it can go up from an average commission of 3% on the average home price at $291,617. That's going to increase your average agent's income from about $70,000 to $175,000. And a top agent would go from $96,000 up to $240,000. What would our costs look like? Well, if you didn't take the time you earn back to get more business, it would look like this. If we just managed the 8 files the average agent has, it would cost that agent $3,160 to hire us on as their assistants. That's a great value for having a full-time assistant on every file. So that's out of that total, that would be gross. After the TC, the agent would make $66,000. Now, if you use that time you get back to increase your productivity, it's gonna look more like this graph down here. And again, our fee is less than $8,000 for a full-time assistant on every one of your files. It's a great value, and we hope that you can see that. So that's everything for our services, and we can definitely provide you with more detailed information as needed. Feel free to reach out to me. This is my number, 720-519-6195. And my email address is there as well, or check us out on our website. And that is my picture there up in the corner, just so you know you can have a face for the name. I look forward to hearing from you, and I hope this is a great service that will bring you some wonderful value in your business.
So we're going to wrap up with that video, just a couple comments. The reason why this is so important right now, you heard what Teresa talked about with the disruptors going on. We have to change, fundamentally change what we do as agents. And we have got to spend more time, less time doing routine paperwork. You're experienced agents, you understand the paperwork flow. Some of you have already those admins in place, that's fantastic. But those who are trying to, they've reached a point, they're single agents, don't know how to get to the next level, this is going to help you get to the next level and free up more of your time to spend on creating your value to the consumer. If you don't do this, it's going to come back and bite you. This is pure return on investment. Actually, those numbers are low. When she took our Oracle office, that office is team rich. So she took the total number of agents in the office, but that's not the true measure of this. So the productivity level to a top agent is actually higher than what she just showed. So those of you with admins already have your licensed, unlicensed assistant, congratulations. Those of you who don't have them, this is an easy way to get started as you need them. And we're going to send out the very specifics about how to sign up. And their process is one of the most structured, best I've ever seen, okay? Everything is documented. The way you get them the information they need so they can help you is like follow the bouncing ball. You just fill out a simple form, And if you have any questions on the materials that we're going to send out, they're going to have a very, very detailed list of all of their services. It's going to make a lot of you smile because you're just saying, oh my God, I'm exhausted at the end of the day. If you work with one buyer, how many houses are you showing them? How many offers are you writing for them? Do I have to say anything more? Okay.
So you're going to send us all the info on what you can.
Yes. Yes, it's too much for this morning's meeting. So last comments, we want to thank you very, very, very much this last year. I think as a whole, we had a great year. 2020 was not the greatest for other reasons. Stay close to your customers, to your clients, to your families, to your friends, and make sure going into the new year, if there's anything we can do to help or assist you, please let us know. We are committed, absolutely committed. This is the Realty Executives family. On behalf of everyone in the leadership team, the staff, we want to wish you a Merry Christmas, a Happy Hanukkah. I think we can still say those things today. Yeah. Or just Happy Holidays. Okay? Thank you all.
Thank you, guys.
We'll have a virtual happy hour.